just want to make sure we're on live because I can't really tell because there's a delay. Oh, awesome. So are we ready to go? Yummy. Am I on live? Hey guys, Sajady here. All right, we'll start over again. Hey guys, Sajady here with Moss on Sundays. I'm trying to figure out what show I have. This is Moss on Sundays, where we answer, why things happen, why life is the way it is, but not just from a surface level, but a deeper level on why things happen the way they do. So what does that mean? Because a lot of people go, well, you got to go in deep. So science-wise, what it's about is at a science level or from, logical level, if you have exceptions to the rule of your understanding or of your belief on why things are, and there's exceptions to that belief or rule, then you need to seek deeper. You need to search deeper. So again, if there are exceptions to the rule of your belief system, whether other people tell you, yeah, but what about this? Well, then again, you might be right at the level that you're at, but then there is a deeper understanding or a deeper truth on why things happen the way they do. So keep searching for that truth, right? And it'll benefit you as well as others. Today's topic, this Moss on Sunday, is how to eat healthy, lose weight without willpower. How many out there and want to see a show of hands? Obviously, I can't see you, but I can feel you. Show of hands, or somebody here says losing too much weight. Comment in if you've been that yo-yo type dieter, or you get addicted to losing weight, or you've been addicted to like getting in shape, so to speak, so much so that you starve yourself. You go to those extreme diets. You go to watching every little thing that you eat. Counting calories to a point that it just becomes really destructive for you. How many of you are in that mode? And then some of you, why are you losing too much weight, or why can't you gain weight, or why can't you lose weight no matter what you've done? So a lot of you, from past experiences, from past private client sessions that I do, although they're getting fewer and fewer in between because we're so backed up. So if you do have a client session, guys, just put your name on the waiting list. We'll get to you, okay? Weight fluctuates, sugar addictions. Yes, exactly. So those are all the physical features or physical, say, outcomes, right? Symptoms of an underlying reason. And that underlying reason we're going to uncover for you here in today's show. And then right after, we'll tell you, you can experience what Xponential Intelligence is all about. We're going to bring on two individuals that I've never worked on before, never seen. And I'll get to exactly what's been stopping them from realizing their true potential, or basically living life the way they should. Okay. And again, for me, it takes merely seconds to find out years of, say, an issue that you might have had. Let me get some. I'm out here in Tulum, Mexico. Here, we're doing a special event, special video for some of the frequencies that are coming up for the next year. So next year is going to be fantastic. I just want to show you my view. I know I set the camera up. It took me a while to set the camera up, lighting and all that stuff, but I just want to show you my view. There it is. Wow, beautiful view. And like right behind those trees, so jungle theme, right behind those trees is the ocean. Some of you might actually hear the ocean. So back to me. And maybe when we do, we also do what's called a hyper meditation on the show. Maybe when we do that, I'll focus back on the ocean. All right. So why do so many people who want to have a healthy lifestyle find it really hard to eat healthy? That doesn't make sense, because if you really, say, loved yourself, or really took care of yourself, or really knew the value of who you were, you would naturally eat healthy. You wouldn't have to force yourself to eat healthy. You wouldn't be, say, addicted to those things that some of us get addicted to. Right. So again, what part of you And that's we're going in deeper right now. And this is just this is an experiential show, guys. So I'm gonna push on some of your hot buttons. So, which is a good thing because when you get pushed, it allows you to go beyond, say, the envelope or beyond the box that you've created yourself into. But so, why is it hard for you to say keep that healthy habit, keep that healthy diet? You want to ask yourself those types of questions and just leave it open. Just leave it open, and then take a deep breath in. So, what is something that should come naturally, like caring for yourself at such a deep level, be so hard that even sheer willpower fails? Have you ever wondered about that? You've always done the right thing. You try to do the right thing, for you, your kids. And this isn't just about losing weight, but in this case, losing weight or feeling healthier or getting healthier. Why is it so damn hard? It should be something very simple, right? Should be, right? It's like, well, why did God make it so hard? Or is it God? Maybe not. Is it a test? Maybe not. Is it your karma? Maybe not. Those things, sure, that could happen. But let's try to figure out ways or solutions that we can control. How's that? So some of the solutions that we can control is, although you might not think so, but in XI, as we're doing more and more research on it, we can start to control our genetic makeup of who we are, what we've got into. Because from what I've seen, working on, like, I've had over 100,000 client sessions. That's a lot of one-on-one time for people, right? That's a lot of one-on-one time or research that I've done on understanding the deeper habits on why people can't, say, lose weight or get into their perfect shape. And when I say perfect shape for you, what I mean by that is not according to, whatever the latest Instagram, trendsetters are, or what according to media trendsetters, because even those changes, back in the, I don't know, the 20s, 30s, 40s, busty women were in shape. And then I think in the 80s or somewhere, then flat chested women, narrow pencil thin, bodies were the style or the rage or the health. Today, I don't know what it is, it's a mixture of all. So again, why does that happen? Why are those type of scenarios? I'm bringing that out because not because of the style or if it's right to be busty or not busty, but a lot of you women that I'm reading have an issue with that. Even if you have like plastic surgery to become busty, you'll have an issue with that. So again, this is all about body shape, not just eating. So the point that I'm trying to make across is, like, if you're identifying yourself with what's perfect outside of you, you're always going to have an issue with your body shape. Right? We're not all created the same. We're not all created for the same purpose, right? We have to resonate differently. So imagine yourself, and again, this goes to a much deeper level. As you take a deep breath in, just notice your solar plex. As you take a deep breath in, understand why you might kind of see yourself in the body shape that you are. Some of you go, well, I eat differently, but is it just eating differently that's going to give you a healthier body shape? You're still going to age the same way, right? Look at your parents. You're just going to follow their trend. Look at society. You're following their trend. So again, I'm not asking you to decide or anything, but just observe, just pause, just take in what I'm talking about and just leave it alone. You don't have to decide on which compartment to put it in, right? Because with that kind of understanding or logic, once you put it into your compartment of understanding, the effect of what I'm saying loses itself. So just observe it, right? Don't put it any place. Don't try to clarify it. Just keep asking those questions to yourself. So let me tell you some of the stories on why somebody might have, and these are extreme stories, but these are stories on why somebody might have, say, the body shape or not be able to eat properly, no matter what they eat, have the right body shape. So it's just not about foods. It's not about what you eat or how you exercise or even plastic surgery or anything to change your body shape. Right? It goes much deeper than that. It goes deeper, and it goes deeper than the self-image that you have. Many people go, well, it's my self-image. If I had a healthier self-image, and yes, that's true, but are there exceptions to the rule of that belief system, healthier self-image? Is there an underlying component that goes beyond the self-image that is allowing you or not allowing you to become that perfect body shape and stay that way, even as you age? In fact, aging the way society does, that's a myth, by the way. And I've proven it. I'm 60 years old, by the way. I'm getting younger and younger. My blood, everything, organs of a 25-year-old. Many of you who have transformed through XI, again, write in on how much younger you've gotten. So again, this stuff goes that deep where you don't even have to age or get ill the way society deems or your family deems that you should. That is all a myth, guys. So I'm going to give you an example on how, say, genetic patterns shape the way your body structure is, no matter what you do at a surface level. So, for example, and you can look these studies up. Back in the day, there was, I forgot, I think it was Austria or some country like that, Switzerland, Austria, somewhere like that, somewhere in that vicinity. They started to realize that there was a group of people that were highly obese. There's a group of children, the population around that time, and I forgot the year, but this group, that were born, say, in the 60s, and again, I'm just giving you an example, they had a high obese ratio. They've never seen that generation of kids be so obese, and nothing have changed. Food, anything like that, it even got better, actually, right? But why were these kids so obese? Well, they did some deeper research. About 3-4 generations before that, that area went through some heavy famine, drought. There was no food for several years. So when you think about that, there's no food for several years. There's women, right? Back in the day, they gave birth. And within their genetic makeup, again, that generation, they gave birth, that generation, their genetic makeup was like, hey, this is drought. I'm going to be starving here, because that's the frequency, say, of the mother when the mothers were pregnant. So those kids had kids, and those kids had kids, and so on. So 5 generations down, that genetic idea or makeup of, hey, there's going to be drought. Right? There's going to be drought. So those generations of kids that have plenty of food, nutrition, no drought, no shortage at all. What they thought was, though, their genetic makeup is like, hey, you know what? I better save for later because there's going to be a drought. So no matter what they eat or no matter how little they ate, it changed their chemical makeup, making their body hold on to, say, excess, say, calories, and turn it into fat. Now, those are the dynamics that we really have to think about. Your environment, not just your current environment, that'll affect your future generations, but what's affected you in the past. Look at how many people have starved to death throughout the ages. And don't have to necessarily be of that, say, culture or area that starved to death, because we're all one. We're all part of that human connection, right? If there's a huge portion that is starving, or if there's a significant amount that is forced to starve, like, for example, what happened in Germany, right? They starved a lot of people to death. So all those genetic makeup or genetic patterns are within you, even if you're not German or a Jew or anything like that. It's happened throughout the world, by the way. The Japanese did it to the Chinese, the U.S. did it to, the Indians here. All those genetic, again, forcing, say, tragedy on people, right? That changes, and that's within your, say, genetic makeup. I'll give you another example on how your genetic makeup changes. And this doesn't This allows you to say, let go of you blaming yourself for your body shape. And I'm going to give you two things that you can do right away. Um, Another thing, just looking at somebody, because I can analyze you. Say that your parents want you to be a boy, but you turn out to be a girl. Okay. So think of it. Your parents wanted you to be a boy. They've always wanted a boy. You turned out to be a girl. Okay. You turn out to be a girl, but that deep desire, or maybe even say not hatred, but envy or jealousy or whatever, force, because they're looking you and going, shit, I wish he was a boy throughout your whole life. So your genetic makeup literally changes into a more masculine, say, body shape. How many of you have had that? How many of you have had that concept where it's like, shit, you know, my parents wanted me to be a boy or a girl, either way. And then your body shape turned into what they desired or wanted, right? Especially when you're in your mom's belly for 9 months going, shit, I hope it's a girl. I hope it's a, a girl or a boy. And then it's the opposite. That messes you up as well. So those are the kind of concepts, and they're not concepts. Those are the kind of, say, variables that XI looks at an individual level. So, but I want to share you this story. It was an event that I did in France when we could travel, and this person didn't know anything about me, and he came to me, and he looked like a Holocaust victim. He literally looked like a Holocaust victim, and and he didn't know what I was about. He didn't know anything about me, but he waited in line, and I go, and and my the team member goes, "Hey, sorry, we're full." He goes, "I'll just wait. I'll just wait." There was a cancellation. He stepped in. He had the exact amount of money for the session, and he had the exact amount of money for the session. And I go, "You don't even know why you're here. You don't even know what I am about, but you know why you're here." He goes, "Yep." He goes, and I go, "You eat a lot of food, but you look like, again, he's so gaunt. You could literally see, the bones. He was that like the starving children that they show in Africa. He looked like that." He goes, "Yep." He goes, "I can eat as much as I want. I can't gain any weight." And then as I was working on him, he literally was a Holocaust victim back in the day. Right now, whether you believe in past lives, if you don't, just think that one of your family members was one of the Holocaust victims. Okay, think of it that way. If you don't believe in a past life, but in this scenario, from my perception, in his past life, he was one of the Holocaust victims. His whole life, although there was abundance, aplenty around him, he couldn't hold on to abundance in any way. He couldn't even hold on to the nutrition that he was consuming. Right? How did that happen? Because his reality, his scenario here was of a Holocaust victim still. So no matter what you do in the reality that you exist in, if you're running a program from a previous, say, consciousness, right? The simulation that you're going to be running here in this reality is going to be very, very different. So, and I can give you more and more reasons on why, and those are extreme reasons. But what about your family? Has your family gone through a lot? And these are the two steps that you can do right now that will help you, say, uncover. Obviously, doing the 18-day hyper meditations, we do that for you, and that's coming up. It's starting December 2nd, by the way. And if you're new to me, please, please, please take just the essential, not the accelerated, no matter how bad or how intense you think you are or gung-ho you are. Just take this, just take the essential, not the accelerated. The essential would be plenty for those who are of you who are new. If you've been here before, I would take the accelerated. So again, that's coming up December 2nd. It's the fastest way to transform your life in the 18 days. Also, this also for those who are planning to take the Total Human Reset, which is coming in January. It goes much deeper than your normal 18-day hyper meditations. Again, this is where we bring in nutritionists, exercise coaches, and all that. So it's a full spherical, say, abundance tour. And we're going to be talking about the relationships, which is really important. The most important relationship is you and your higher version of who you are, right? If you want to call it your spirit, your time bound self, your spirit, yourself, I call it your time bound self, and then your timeless self. Much closer to what, say, the Matrix. What would see? How many of you all are gonna be wanting to watch the Matrix, the new movie coming out with Neo? Good stuff. Well, I'm the Matrix man. Actually, I can bend time. And we're going to also do a video on what they got in the Matrix, what they got right in that movie, and what they got wrong. So that's going to be exciting. All right. So 2 steps you can take right now. I'll actually give you 3. Okay. That you can do right now is 1, observe your body, not from a judgmental place, like, ah, shit, my hips are too damn big, this and that, but just observe. Okay. Observe the shape, or observe how much space, I know it sounds weird, how much space you take up in your environment. I know it sounds weird, but the importance of that is that it's like negative, positive space, right? So in architecture and beauty, they always talk about negative, positive space. So think about it that way. You're just observing the shape that you're taking up in your environment. So there's nothing, again, it's got nothing to do with judgment or anything like that. But when nature creates shape and function and form, it's always, say, the most efficient. It's like an airfoil, the wings, of an airplane, or like a raindrop, right? In nature, it travels through nature in the most efficient shape. So according to your standards, according to your frequency, underlying frequency, is the shape that you are in efficient if you were, say, in a wind tunnel of nature? Think of it that way. Okay. And it's not just about wind tunnels or the efficiency of how you process through the air. It is the efficiency of how you process or go through space-time, the 4th dimension, because that stuff's real, guys. Okay. So it's not about, again, this is too fat, that's too fat. But if you start to understand that and just observe your body, okay, in that form, rather than, well, this magazine tells me I should be X, Y, and Z. It's not about that. Again, it's you in space-time. Okay. 4th dimension. So how do you do that? You take a picture and just analyze yourself. You might even color yourself out, like just, black, color it in black. So there's no, form function. It's just the shape. You can do that. Stand in front of the mirror, get naked, stand in front of the mirror, and then just observe the shape of how you cut out, say, your environment. Okay. The second aspect is you start asking yourself, this is really a good question. When do you have judgment when observing? How do you let that go? I'm going to do a whole topic on judgment and, how judgment can destroy you, and then how to use it properly. So that's the gist of it, because judgment is highly, highly important, but most people judge the wrong thing. Okay. So what you're doing, and this is the difference, what you're doing as far as judging, you're still judging, but you're not judging, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm too this, I'm too that. You're judging how much space you take up. And it's not about how much space. If you're, say, an intense whatever situation, you might take up a little more space if that's more efficient for you to get, say, your purpose out there. So again, it's not about, thin and fat. It's just literally the shape of your body within this environment. So if you're judging it in that, you're helping yourself reconnect to that 4th dimension that is so important for your health. I know it sounds crazy, but just give it a try. Okay. So the second aspect is start to look at your body parts, like your jawline, your eyes. The eyes are easy. It's like, oh, my eyes are on Sally's. Right. So take a look at Aunt Sally. Look at her history. You might find that a lot of your, say, behaviors, the way your food habits are, and everything else are a lot like Aunt Sally's as well. Say she went through a lot of strife in her relationships. You'll probably end up going through a lot of strife in your relationships. Got it? That makes sense to you? So again, start to observe, where did you get your hands? How do your feet, your midsection, your breast, whatever it is that you want, just observe and just go, okay, who did I inherit that from? Because obviously you inherited it from somebody. It just didn't show up for you. Okay. And then the third aspect of it is to, like I said, research your family history. So that's that. The third aspect is look at society's habits. Are you trending like society? Are you trending like the herd? If you're trending like the herd, well, that's not good either, because you're looking around and, through TV, through family experiences, and this is what happens. Like you're a kid and you're looking at your 40-year-old parents, you're a kid, you're a mom. You're a girl. You're looking at your mom right there. You're looking at your mom's like overweight. Okay. And this is how genetic patterns like perpetuate themselves. Your mom's overweight. She's got bad knees, right? Bad hips. And you look at her, it's like, oh, when I'm 40, and you're just a 3-year-old girl, when I'm 40, that's what females are supposed to age like. And then most likely, your other family members are similar to that. You look at society, 40-year-olds, they all look like that. And it's like, oh shit, when I'm 40, I guess. And then you just program it. Not at a psychological level, but again, at a much, much deeper level, your body, brain. So these are all the reasons why, no matter what you do at a surface level, eat good, exercise good, you have issues. Okay. And through this, and I'm going to go through a deep state meditation, and then we'll bring those two people on. The last aspect of yourself, as especially after you clean up, by doing maybe an 18-day hyper meditation, month or something like that, you start to clean up. You start to listen to your body. You start to listen to your body, and you'll start to gravitate towards those foods that are better for you, and then away from those foods that aren't, just naturally. So, and then the last aspect, and we'll go into a deep state meditation, is that, again, the deeper reason is that you'll start to say, love yourself at a deeper level. You start to cherish yourself. You start to look at yourself as something precious. And when you start to look at something precious, you're looking at your physical form. You not only enjoy life better, but you're going, shit, this is really a precious gift that I've been given, right? Life. And you go, I'm going to take care of this gift. Most of the time, people are mad at their life. So they destroy the preciousness of life that they have. So let's take a deep breath in. Again, deep breath in, noticing where you are. Breath in again. And I'll get you into a deeper state. We'll work on two people. That way I can work on you all as well, especially if you have similar issues. And then we'll continue on with this meditation. But notice your spine. Observe your body, your head, your eyes, your shoulders, your chest, your back, the body shape, your bone structure, your hips, your elbows, your hands, your feet, your legs, and ask right now. It's like, who did I get all this stuff from? Where did I inherit it all? Just keep asking yourself. Some of you might like pixelate. So what that means is like part of you is like, say, Uncle Harry's. The other part of you is, I don't know, Aunt Bessie's or your mom's or whatever. You'll start to say disconnect from yourself. So again, it's okay. That's what we're here for, to help you decipher. So if you're starting to feel, again, pixelated or say disjointed or separate, comment in, okay? All right. So we'll take the two people, we'll analyze them, pinpoint exactly what they're about and what's been holding them back. We'll work on you as well. And then we'll go into the deeper hyper meditations as I promised. Before we get started, guys, I just want to read this disclaimer. It's a crazy world out there. So this is Sajady with Xponential Intelligence, Sunday, November 28th, 2021. Not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So please, if I give you medical advice, consult your doctor for professional advice or seek some other, again, you make your own choices. If you ask to be scanned, obviously you're agreeing that we may use your session in any public media to help inspire others. So remember, obviously the two people here, obviously you've authorized us for to take this public, because it is a public media. And then all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without our written permission. Alrighty, so let's bring on, is it Mila that we're going on first? Yeah. Hey Mila, how are you? You'd have to unmute yourself, one.
Hi.
Hi. How are you, hon?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very, very
nervous,
thankful for this.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So you don't mind if I analyze you or scan you and see what's going on? Is that okay with you? Okay. Sounds fantastic. So, tell me what experience that you've had with XI. Are you a newbie or?
Yeah, I'm new. I got this through a friend in September, in the end of September. And I basically just devoured everything. So I went into the 18 days and I bought a couple of your meditations. I've done the investment in meditation and self-love, and also my son has started listening to it because he's—
How old is your son?
He's just turned 13.
Okay, that's beautiful. Yeah,
he really needed it.
Yeah, and I'll work on him for a bit as well while I work on you. Okay. Yeah. So you were basically always searching, to find a better version of you, and you've done a lot of stuff. Let's just say, and you've done a lot of sciencey stuff. It's like, because it needs to have logic for you. Does that make sense to you? It needs to have proof, but. When you came into XI, and the reason why I say you devoured it even is because it's like, holy shit, this feels right at a deeper level. You got drawn in, or you got pulled into the work. You didn't even know why, for example, because some of the stuff or half the stuff didn't even make sense to you from what I'm seeing. Does that make sense? In the beginning, some of the stuff I would say, it's like, yeah, there's a hint of truth in there, or there's truth in there, but my belief system says this. So you're kind of comparing the two. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I would say that I've always known there's a much deeper thing to life and I've had a lot of experiences with animals and spirits and stuff, but also I'm very scientific. So, so I'm very logical.
Yeah, that's a perfect mix for people who want to be in XI, because it's not about, the science here is really good, but we need to go to a much higher level of science. And then, the spiritual side, there's a lot, it's so much fluff out there that it's not logical, So XI literally is, the marriage between science and spirituality, or basically the science of what we call spirituality. But basically it's the laws of nature. So so let's just jump in. I don't know if you have issues with your gut, but there's always a sense of fear in you, and it stays right there. And sometimes it gets really solid. I don't know, maybe when you were younger, was there a lot of pain there for you, or was that somebody else in your family?
Well, it was kind of messy when I was young. I'm adopted, and I had all sorts of things happening, and my mom got into alcohol, and then she died, and so it's been a lot of stuff.
Okay, so your mom died. That's what I'm seeing, because I'm seeing it's like it's not you, and the pain literally is her liver. Her liver basically failed. That makes sense, and that's how she basically poisoned herself to death because her liver failed, and then so again, I could be way off, but I'm just reading her. But the point is that why am I reading her life history in you? That makes sense. Even if now she's not your was she your adopted mom or your real mom?
No, no,
You're
adopted
adopted?
mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So one is that why would you be in a situation that you'd be adopted? Because that has a frequency of its own. Does that make sense? Why did your parents say give you away? So there's a lot of self-worth issues in that pattern where, again, notice your lower back. There's a lot of self-worth issues in that pattern of being adopted. So you, at a deeper level, are always trying to prove to yourself, one, that, well, you're needed here. Does that make sense to you? There's a deep need to be needed. One of the reasons is, again, you've been given away, and it could be a good reason. It doesn't matter, but you've been given away at a deeper genetic level. When you're given away like that, maybe the parents were poor, maybe whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The point is that you've been given away. You're disconnected from your original, say, parents. So that's like, well, what the hell happened? So that nurturing aspect of you isn't there. That makes sense to you. So there's not a lot of nurturing in you, and you always crave to be nurtured. But even if you do get nurtured by people, it won't be enough for you. It doesn't feel enough. It's like a drought. It's kind of like parched land, and then there's a thunderstorm, and it doesn't absorb, say, the water, the rain. It just creates, it's a surface level nurture. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
So, and I know it might bring some deeper emotions out for you, which is really good. You're releasing that. Take a breath in again. Just notice your groin area. And for those people who are of similar patterns, so this is where, again, no matter how much love you seek, it'll never feel good because you can't absorb the love. It's just surface level. Although you're a very loving person and you see the love that could be, it always, say, evades you, but you keep searching after it anyway because you know it's true. So you kind of played a game for yourself. It's like, I know I'll get it someday, and that's what's keeping you going. Some people give up. It's like, shit, I'm 30 years old. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck it. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to just go die or be celibate. For you, it's like, you're just like that little young girl, that I know it's out there. I know it's out there.
That's bullseye.
Yeah. Mila, you're the type of person that there was one saying that, for this little girl's birthday present, she was so, positive thinking. She was so, positive. What do they call that? Positive thinking, just like looking at the brighter side of life, knowing that there's a bigger version. This little girl, she got a pile of like horse manure. And it's like, and here's your pile. And she was so excited because she kept digging. She goes, because I know in there that there's a horse for me. Does that make sense? That would be you. It's like, no matter what life throws at you, it's like, I know if I keep digging, that there's going to be brilliance. So does that make sense to you, hon? So that's what's kept you going.
Yeah, it does a lot. And also that's kind of my life story. I keep improving. I keep working hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it never satisfies. It never solidifies in you. And then, again, as you get older and older and older, you start to become kind of like your grandmother, who had a lot of opportunities, but never got to like really experience it. Now, it could be your blood grandmother. Obviously that, so you might not know that, but a lot of her burdens are in you as well. Does that make sense to you? So what if we could just release that, and you could actually, instead of almost feeling it and then it goes away from your grasp, what if we could just stop whatever you're running after so you can jump into it and go forward with it? Does that make sense? Okay. So you all, and then Mila, take a deep breath in. If you want, you can close your eyes. So I'll give you the deeper reason on why this happens for you, Mila. You're always running after time. You're always late for things, or you always have to be really meticulous on being on time. That makes sense to you. Then you can just shake your head if you want. Breath in again. So when you're always out of time, you're always feeling insecure. And you're always, say, too hurried to feel the love that's around you. And again, the love, from what I'm seeing in your history as I look through, say, your pages of life, there's been plenty of times where good people try to do good things, but it never worked out for you. Right. And you wonder, it's like, well, they were good people. They were trying the best for me, but why didn't it work out? That's the reason why. So take a breath in again. Close your eyes, hon. Imagine that the train of time you're running after. Okay. And you can almost catch it, but you keep running after it. And this is where, again, not feeling good enough for you. It's like, oh, shit, why am I not good enough to be on that train of time? I see everybody else having fun. I see the beauty that's there if I can just reach it, but it always evades me. So as you take a deep breath in, Mila, and then others, just notice that train of time and notice what happens to it in your mind's eye. So it's not about hypnosis. It's not about visualization. There we go. Did you notice, Mila and others, in your mind's eye, and I didn't prep you for anything or anything like that. I didn't prep you. I didn't create a seed your brain. But did you notice your train stopped for you? Some of you, your train disappeared. That's good. The next step for you, Mila, we'll just count down to 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Notice that if you look around your mind's eye, and again, I didn't plant any seeds for you, you're on the train. You don't have to run for it anymore. You're on the train. So you can experience life while the train of time takes care of everything else for you. Yep. A lot of you going, it stopped, I got on. Exactly. Some of you, your train disappeared because your reference point, again, you were always behind the train. If you look around, for those people whose train disappeared, for example, if you look around, look down, you'll see that it's like, wow, I'm in time. I'm in or absorbed me, train absorbed into me. Exactly. You jumped on that train. So there's different variations, but again, it's the same theme. You're on the train of time. So if you're on the train of time, and this goes back to eating healthy, becoming more self-aware, self-love, you're going to naturally eat healthy now because you are in time. And it's not a mind game, by the way, but you're in time. And you want to take care of yourself. That's where real love comes from, understanding that you're in time. It sounds crazy, but if you keep doing advanced XI, you'll understand the logic, okay? If you don't understand the logic, if you're new, don't go, oh, that's just bullshit. If your life isn't working the way it is with your logic, open up to other, scenarios, okay? That's all I'm asking. But if it's okay if you don't. It's fine too. It's your life. So anyway, so once you stay on this train of time, you'll start to see that a lot of things will show up for you. You'll start to say, embrace life. You'll start to say, really experience life the way it should be. And you'll start to absorb, you'll start to absorb the nurturing environment that you're always in that you couldn't before. You'll start to see people treat you differently, especially after this session for you. All right, hon? We can keep going on. Do you have any specific questions? Your son, by the way, if you've always noticed before, he was always like spacey or not in time, or you couldn't connect with him, or it's like no matter what I say, he doesn't hear me or he doesn't listen to me. Does that make sense? That profile of your son? While he's doing the 13 days, I mean, what you've done with me, have you noticed that he's more present? That makes sense to you?
Yeah, but also he has trouble with friends. He's been bullied. Uh,
Yep. Yeah.
so he's having a hard time, and he's really.
Yes. So let me talk about that real quick and then we'll move on. Because I saw that your son doesn't, I saw him as he doesn't do well with people. So the underlying, so you, again, he's inherited a lot of stuff from you, but then also the father tends to escape his reality a lot or have excuses, so to speak. Again, escape. So your son basically is an escape artist, which is good if he uses it right. But so when you get bullied, you don't solve the problem. He escapes. And then people who are bullies, they usually are very insecure and they need people like your son, so to speak, to latch onto to hold themselves and make them feel secure. I did a bully topic, I think on Moss on Sundays, and I would suggest you taking a look at that. So for your son, when I said he's becoming more and more present, he's going to be happier here, and then he'll be a solid foundation, and then he won't be bullied because nobody can push him around. He'll be here, and he's not going to care. That makes sense. I would suggest doing a session for your son later on, but this will help him again strengthen himself, where again he doesn't get bullied. Okay, it's the initial start. I'm not saying it's a fix like that, but it's the initial start of him having value, so to speak, and standing up for himself. All right. All right, we'll move on. Other questions or no? Are you good?
I just have one question about my heritage around money, wealth, because I know I was adopted to a rich country from a very poor country.
Yep.
And
yeah.
I've
What
had
country?
trouble. I'm adopted from Sri Lanka and I live in Sweden.
Okay. So yeah. So Sri Lanka again. Even that again, that's part of the culture or what's in your genetic makeup, your DNA. So even if you, like you said, you went from a poor country to a rich country, you would still feel, say, poor. Unfortunately, that's what happens to a lot of people. Even if they become wealthy, you still will feel poor and incomplete. So those are again money type patterns, issues that we work on. It's the same as your health. So yes, removing those patterns as you go. So your self-worth is literally based on, say, this culture that you came from. It's genetically programmed. But as you go through the 18 days, especially now, Amelia, this December for you, you've cleaned out a lot of those questions, so to speak, or hindrances. You've cleaned out, say you've taken inventory and you've taken, it's like, wait a second, that belief doesn't work. And you're even going down and going, hey, wait a second, my culture, I come from a poor culture, but that doesn't make sense. I'm void of that culture. I'm human. So you're not basing yourself on the culture. You're basing yourself on human. And then you go, I deserve to be more. I deserve wealth. And you'll see that pattern turn around. In about the next month and a half for you. You'll start that self-deserving. Does that make sense? So, all right. We'll switch. We'll go to Joel. You're so welcome, hon. So do you see lots of underlying reasons? And again, there's a lot of reasons on why shit happens at this level. But as you go to higher and higher, say, levels of realities or consciousness, there's only usually one reason. Anyway, hey, Joel, how you doing?
Hey, Mas.
Yeah. So I've never really spoken to you or anything like that. What have you done with XI?
I kind of broke a little rule of yours. I took the accelerated 18-day immediately.
Okay. How did that go for you?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I've had experiences with meditation, so
I see that. Yeah, you go into other realities really quickly. That makes sense? that make sense to you?
What?
You can see,
Yeah.
you can see like 4 or 5 different, say, aspects. Say somebody tells you something, right? And then you would have like 5 different scenarios of how you would look at that situation. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes people go, well, shit, Joe can't make up his mind, or, I'm kind of confused, or like, which way do I go? Those kind of like lower level, say, symptoms. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Yeah. So take a deep breath in, Joe. You really have fantastic abilities, but people with fantastic abilities who don't know how to use it, it's kind of like a power tool that you don't know how to use. You could really create some great masterpieces, or you can like cut your limbs off, right? So what you've done when you were really young, it's almost like something tragic happened to you or your family around 9, 10, 11, 12 for you, maybe 10. And it pushed you. You were like a happy kid for the most part, always intuitive, but then something tragic happened and like your life kind of shattered, so to speak. If that makes sense to you.
That change did happen, but I don't remember what exactly happened. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes we don't exactly remember, but the experience, the way I'm saying it, you're agreeing with. Does that make sense? Something happened like that. Okay. So yes. So it's really cool. So take a breath in, buddy. So say you're on that train of time. Okay. And you're looking through the lens, and it's just like one lens. Okay. And then all of a sudden, again, some tragedy happens. And if you want, I can kind of see the tragedy if you want. Otherwise, as you strengthen, you'll start to remember what happened. Okay. Because a lot of times, and I'll explain why you can't remember what happened. So anyway, you're 10, you're going around, you're in time, the train of time, and all of a sudden an impact happens. Boom. It like knocks you off the train of time. Now you always have to, and that's where a lot of your insecurities come. No matter how good you are and you're good at a lot of things, you'll always feel insecure. Does that make sense? That insecurity comes, it's like, shit, I got to be better the next time. I got to be better the next time, because that's how you, and you're very meticulous, or you're very detailed, and you want to be a perfectionist, so to speak. Does that make sense to you? The reason why is like when you are more granular or more perfection, you are locked more into time, details of time, right? So we can turn that gift around as well. So again, something happened, it knocked you off. Just didn't knock you off. It literally shattered the lens that you look at life. So if imagine you're wearing glasses, right? You're wearing glasses, and then the lens shattered in front of you. So you're wearing a shattered lens. So you're looking at the same object, but from 3 different points of view, or 5 different points of view. If you've ever looked at yourself in a broken mirror, you get a different version of who you are. Does that make sense?
Right. Because the lens is broken.
Because the lens is broken. You're right. So the light diffracts. So space-time diffracts for you differently. So you literally diffract space-time. It's a cool ability, but you're using it wrong. Okay. So take a deep breath in. So what I'm doing is literally, hey, Joe, let's replace that lens where it's not shattered for you and for others. So you all take a deep breath in. What if I could replace that lens for you? It's like your glasses. It cracked somehow, it broke. And it's like, hey, Joel, let me replace those lenses for you. Breath in. Notice your jaws are really tight, but your neck, your upper shoulders are really, really tight all the time, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a reason for that. You might clench your jaws from what I'm seeing, or you're always tense. Again, you're always trying to hold on to things, by the way, especially if something works, which is really good, or say a person. You would hold on to a person that would even say abuse you, because that's more important than being abused. Or say, for example, your love life. Even if they fuck you over, you'll still love that person. So it's not healthy. That makes sense?
Why is that?
What now?
Chasing. What am I chasing? Since I'm holding on to that.
Yeah, you're holding on to time. You're trying to hold on to time, but you would hold on to, say, somebody that you love dearly, right? Because the reason why you love them is because they're anchored in time solidly. But they would say not necessarily like you, or they'd even say treat you not well.
Yeah. But
you would still hold on to them. Does that make sense? Because being in time is more important than being treated right. It might not make sense, but if you're out of time or disconnected, like sometimes you feel like despondent. And this is where sometimes you go, I'm not worth it anymore. Or it's like, it might be easier if I wasn't here. Those kind of patterns, self-worth comes up. Or even like it goes even deeper, like sometimes suicidal patterns. Or you might hang around people who are suicidal, from what I'm seeing as well. That makes sense to you? Or not worthy of themselves. You are the anchor, by the way, to those people. So take a breath in. So they don't want to be here for some reason. And it's usually not the situation that they're around. By the way, we're going to do why people kill themselves and what to do about it en masse on Sunday in the near future. It's one of the topics, because the rate of suicide, guys, COVID time is skyrocketed. There's a deeper reason for that. Anyway, so they don't want to be here. They're out of time because they think that they disappearing. They latch onto you and pulls you further back as well. So breath in again. So one, let's put you a solid, say, grounding. So one, people don't latch onto you. You don't latch onto other people. So you'll feel unstable for a bit. Two, let's create or replace that shattered lens so you feel whole or you feel like complete. Okay. And then later on, once you solidify or once you know where you are in this fourth coordinate here in the matrix, I can help you say expand into those realities that have been shattered for you. There we go. And then once you do this, you'll see that you'll be more calmer, so to speak, because there's a sense of anxiety for you all the time. Does that make sense to you? No matter what you do.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about this all, guys, at the lower, say, frequencies of density, the happier that you are or the more successful that you are, did you notice that you become more anxious? Okay. So how does that, think of it, guys, especially you, Joel. Your equation is the more successful, the more happier I get. You've associated the higher my anxiety gets. So why would you want to be happy and successful? You'll always want to be somewhere in the medium level, right? Because if you get too happy, you get fucked up more. If you get below that, you get fucked up more. So it's basically you go, well, I'll just stay in the middle. That makes sense to you? That's why you don't try your hardest, although you could. And the reason for that is because you'll realize over time you've been trained to go, shit, if I get too happy and get too successful, I'm going to fuck myself up. The extreme version of this is where there's a lot of entertainers. They become, stardom overnight, and then they commit suicide shortly thereafter because they realize that they're disconnected, or they realize, for you, for example, that you're shattered. So a breath in again, bud. There we go. How are you feeling?
Right now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out this reflection thing. It's like, yeah, it is quite messy, and I thought I did quite well in identifying the pattern that like being anxious is a good thing because I'm doing well, but it's still a bit tricky to handle.
That's exactly that. And that's the reason why I said. So again, it's not about you trying to figure out psychologically or trying to calm yourself down or anything like that. But what I did for you was literally, one, lock you into time. So you'll feel compressed. You can't escape. Two, fix the way you see your life so it's not shattered. So you'll even now I see you with more clarity. There's not a lot of questions that you'll always have. Does that make sense? It's more narrowed down into very few questions. Some of the you'll make easier, better choices this way as well. Does that make sense to you?
Clarity as in just letting the thoughts like flow to me, or like just not thinking about anything, being present and spatial.
Yeah, you'll just be present. You're always wondering, it's like, what do I do next, or what do I have to do next to stay in time or stay up to date? Does that make sense to you? Even now, and again, comment in, guys. Do you feel just more? You actually feel uncomfortable being comfortable, because right now when I'm seeing you, Joel, it's like I'm not thinking about anything. My mind isn't running 100 miles an hour, but why do I feel good? It's kind of messing you up a little bit. Does that make sense or no?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not overthinking being here. And you did great in the past because you needed that to stay here. But now you're good. You can think. So now you're on that train, and now you can think about other things and expand the possibilities. So in the future, Joe, I see you going into different realities, coming back with new ideas, new concepts. You're very artistic or creative in that nature, if that makes sense to you. So those things will show up. Your creativity will show up without, say, messing you up. This is where, again, you seem like a creative artist. I don't know what you do, but you're very creative in that sense. This is where the concept or the idea that you have to go into the dark space to be creative, or you have to sell your soul to be creative, like a lot of artists do. You don't have to do that. You can be in your brilliance and create, say, art. And that's, again, the future of art. And theater and so on in the near future. Feeling grounded though?
Yes, much better. Much better. I think I'm also kind of dealing with the whole dark thing that you just spoke of. Like as I consciously stay away from that, I do get the reflection back towards me that like it's me that's being dark,
Yep. Absolutely. So somebody said about spatial referencing is such a simple way to balance. So I helped you spatial reference. And if you're not understanding that, Joel, we cover that topic. It literally is the best way to stay stable in this reality and feel good about yourself. And you can even, a lot of people have, been taken off their medications, mental medications, doing spatial referencing. I do teach you that in the 18-day hyper meditations coming up in December. So any other questions as we end, buddy? No, we took a little more time, but feeling good?
Thank you for your time. Feeling good. Thank you.
You bet. All right, guys. Welcome back. So let's take a deep breath in. It'll take about 5 minutes. We'll go deeper. Just reading some of your comments. I do analyze you guys. That's next week. So if you want to be part of those individuals that are new to me and want to be scanned like these two individuals did, I don't know what the process is. The team can let you know on that. Okay. Breath in again. Joel's looking awesome. Yep. Again, thanks for the great feedback. That's how fast you can transform your life, guys. It doesn't have to take decades. That's old technology, by the way. Breath in again. And notice I was working on you all, but more on Joel, but you all are going in. It's just like, that feels awesome. I've seen a lot of changes. Exactly. Beautiful, isn't it? Spatial referencing help with ADHD. Yes, absolutely. Breath in again. So what I'm doing now is, one, dropping you into your higher version of yourself where you value yourself more. As you value yourself more, as you notice your shoulders, okay? As you value yourself more, you'll see all the ways that you don't value yourself. One of those ways obviously would be eating improperly. right? Too much sugar, too much whatever, overeating, not eating the right foods, whatever it might be, you'll see it's like, shit, that's not right. And then you'll also have the wherewithal or that internal willpower to go, I don't need that anymore. Because again, it's congruent to your value system, right? Breath in again. But I want you to understand that once you see all the ways you've been, say, not being healthy towards yourself, hence the reason why for your body shape, don't blame me. Don't go, well, I listened to this Moss guy and now I feel like crap. Well, you're seeing the reasons why you are in the situation that you're in. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just that flashlight that goes, hey, this is the problem. Breath in again. Working on world leaders, by the way, as well. Some of you have been on the show, you automatically bring in world leaders. We do that because they always go, we want to do this for your best interest, is for your safety. Well, let's make it for the human interest, not their best interest, right? Notice your spine. I'm going to go ahead and leave you in this space, guys. A lot of good things coming up. December 18 days, like I said, that's coming up. December 2nd, not too far off from here. Reflections coming up on the 29th of December. It's a really opportune time for you to let go of the past, start reflecting who you really are. So it's got a double meaning. Again, going backwards, seeing what we need to reflect on of the past and let go, and then bringing in your true reflection. So that's on the, the 29th reflection that's coming up, December 18th day. I talked about becoming a lighthouse, an icon. A lot of you want to help people, especially today, right? A lot of people need help, but the worst thing you can do is like burden, because that's what most people do, or they think about. Religions tell you that you need to burden yourself to help others. It's not the case. Look at where it's taken the world. There's more burdens than ever. So becoming a lighthouse, it's about you shining your light and going, hey guys, this is the path that you need to take. You don't want to be down on the rocky shores trying to like jump in and save people, because you're going to get hit against those rocky shores. It doesn't work out. So again, how to become a lighthouse. And then all proceeds go to the Lake Harriet Spiritual Center. It's a pet project of mine, keeping them alive so they can do the fantastic things they do for the community there in Minneapolis. So that's on December 3rd at 7 p.m. Central. So that's all there for you. All right, guys. All right. So as we end, anything else? All right. As we end, guys, notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you're noticing. All right. Peace.
People come up to me and go, hey, Moss, what's the 18 days? Well, it's the fastest way to transform your life in just 18 days. People come up to me and go, hey, Moss, what's the 18 days? Well, it's the fastest way to transform your life in just 18 days, just by listening, by the way. People ask me, well, how does that happen? Well, through my 2 near-death experiences, I've honed amazing abilities that can help you rewire your life. So what I've done is I've figured out a way to have these advanced processes to help you rewire yourself for success while you're in this meditative state. So it's advanced processes packaged in a nice, beautiful meditation. All you have to do is just listen, and you will see changes in your life, even after the first session.